Alright, one of my subscribers wants me to post more videos, but one of the reasons why I haven't been posting more videos is because a lot of these places that I go to have concerns about me videotaping. Like where I picked up this load, I'm not allowed to have my camera at all, my phone at all. So what I'm doing now is I'm unloading, they call it soap or water. Anyways, it comes from another biofuel plant. And it's going to this biofuel plant. So this is their biofuel waste, and we brought it here for them to recycle and make biofuel out of it as well. And that actually happens a lot. So this is, you know, green energy, if you will. They mixed in manure, whatever the crap this stuff is, as well as who knows what else, milk fat, you know. Like this guy here in this dump truck, he's unloading some kind of cream into their digester. And then this is going into maybe the same digester, I'm not sure. One of the places I go to is called Cow Power, and they majority use manure to recycle. I mean, they recycle the manure to make electricity. It's kind of nasty, but this one here is not as nasty as Cow Power. But they're using manure as well, and other stuff too, like that cream. Now, I won't get you in the video. All right. But anyways, so yeah, basically, this one here is an easy unload. It's gravity unload. But sometimes I gotta pump on or off. Like yesterday I had to pump this load on, but this time I was able to gravity load this, and now I'm gravity unloading. But yeah, basically I've been running mostly all over the Midwest doing biofuel. So the majority of the ingredients that I haul either go into animal feed or biofuel. Every once in a while I'll haul some food grade stuff. I mean, it's all basically food grade, sorta. But when I haul the food grade stuff, I have to get a washout and you know, get a certified kosher clean washout, and then I can go pick up food grade products. All of this stuff is natural. None of it's really synthetic or chemical. It's just a byproduct of another product, and it's all natural products. So this is biofuel ingredient byproduct for biofuel ingredient. So it's all natural. It just stinks to high heaven, and it's pretty nasty. But that's pretty much what I'm doing now. And it's okay. I'm not trying to complain. I just feel like the money could be better, but I've had worse. So this one of those, I've had better and I've had worse, and it's not that bad, so I'm sticking it out. Yeah. But oh yeah, and I'll show you the inside of the box here. This is a different trailer than I had when I first hired on. So basically that's the pump there at the bottom. And so since I'm gravity feeding, I'm going straight out the back. So I got 3 valves. One is what I would call internal valve, and then I got 2 external valves. The first external valve at the top is basically the straight in. The second external valve on the side goes down to the pump. and then basically I can pump on or off, and I got that lever there in the top right corner of the box, and that's for the pump. So I pull it out to pump out, push it in to pump in, and then I got my hydraulic system up here. So these are my hydraulics, my hydraulic lines. Then I hook them in to here. This is my hydraulic system. And then I got a PTO switch inside. So I hook these up, and then it runs through here, and it runs the hydraulic system, so I can run my pump that way. And that's pretty much it. I carry that little stubby hose on here on my catwalk for doing gravity unloads like this. And then I got 2 longer hoses in these hose tubes if I need them to load or unload as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not that hard, it's not that complicated, it's not rocket science for sure. But it's also not bumping docks. Yeah. And yeah, I'll do an update video on my pay later. I did a brief update on the last video that I haven't uploaded yet, but I'm about to. I'm gonna upload it next, and then I'll upload this one. So yeah, that's what I do. You'll go back a few videos, you'll see the cow power video. It's basically the same thing, except that one is a lot nastier location. But yeah, a lot of these places, like I said, they don't want me to videotape, and this guy was kind of leery of letting me, but I asked, and he's like, just don't mention our name. And I'm like, okay, no problem. No problem. But yeah, it's green energy, but they're worried, you know, about stupid people and competition, you know. So, or, you know, trade secrets and stuff like that. You know, like, when I was doing cattle feed, they was like, you can't videotape and you can't take pictures of nothing. I got in trouble for taking pictures. My battery died before I was done videotaping. I'm charging the battery now. I'm heading back to the truck stop. I got 4 hours left I can work, but I can't pick up my next load till tomorrow. So, when I get back to the truck stop, I will finish the video. Because there's a couple things I thought about that I didn't talk about. So I'll finish the video at the truck stop, where I'm not around people who are concerned about me videotaping. I just got done watching, you know, energy, if you will, watching the video to see where it cut me off, and also to see if I accidentally videotaped any pertinent information or whatever that needs to be edited out. And I basically did a good job of not capturing anything that needed to be edited out. So that's good. But yeah, that's why I had it down to facing the ground a lot of times, because they were very, the guy was concerned about me capturing their name or, you know, giving away their identity. Yeah. I think the biggest concern was, you know, the radical liberals, because even though this is green energy, it doesn't look pretty. And, you know, these radical liberals are looking for anything to create problems or chaos. And I think that's his biggest concern. And then, of course, there's trade secrets. Like that cattle feed company I worked for. So, 2 things I wanted to say real quick before I get to the truck stop. Like, where I picked up this ingredient, this is, they call it wash water or soap. It doesn't look like wash water or soap. But anyway, that's what they call it. There's another product that's a byproduct of biodiesel, and it's called bottoms. When I was hauling cattle feed, that is one of the ingredients that they put in cattle feed, is the biodiesel byproduct called bottoms. You know, so a lot of this stuff is universal. It'll go in animal feed, or it'll go in biofuel, or the byproduct of the biofuel will go into animal feed. You know, so just all depends. But it's they try to recycle everything, and that's cool. That's cool. It's kind of gross, but it's cool. You know, a lot of these ingredients are pretty nasty. The animals love it. You know, especially like when I was hauling cattle feed, I'd go home and the goats, the dog, the cats, they'd come clean my trailer for me. You know, they'd be licking my trailer clean. It was hilarious. But interesting. They got some cool rocks up here in Indiana. I wish I had those kind of rocks where I live. I got limestone and chert. If anybody wants to trade some Indiana rocks for some limestone and chert, let me know. We'll figure something out. But anyways, yeah, they got some cool rocks up here. But yeah, I got 20 acres that I could turn into a quarry right now if I had the equipment. I'd mine all the clay, rock, dirt, everything off that property if I had the equipment. But anyway, that's another story. It's a nightmare story. But anyways, so before I got cut off, I was saying that the company I used to work for, hauling cattle feed, I had to sign this waiver that I wouldn't take any pictures or videos of anything. So I did take some pictures and some videos, but very few. And most of the videos and pictures were of the equipment for the mechanic, you know? And I get in trouble. Like, why are you taking pictures? Ah! It's like, dude, I'm taking a picture of this broken part to send to the mechanic so he can fix it. Do you have a problem with that? You know? And of course, like I said, I signed a waiver saying I wouldn't take pictures, but I think that was the exception to the rule. However, they still got mad at me for taking the pictures. As dude, I'm just trying to help maintain the equipment. But that's why I quit that company, because they wouldn't maintain their equipment. It didn't matter if I took the pictures to help them maintain the equipment. They were cheapskates. I called them German Jews because they were German, but they acted like Jews. And they were penny pinchers, boy. I tell you what, they did not want to spend a dime on nothing. It's crazy. But I had to leave there because I was afraid I was going to mess up my CSA score because they wouldn't maintain their equipment. And then I had a steer tire blowout while doing 75 in Kansas on the Kansas Speedway. No, on out there on I-70 out in the middle of nowhere. Going through the desert in my truck with no name. I was doing 75 and a 75, and a steer tire blew out, and I was fully loaded. Tanker, bringing product back to put into cattle feed. It was a byproduct of something to go into cattle feed. And I was booking it, and steer tire blew out. Luckily, nobody was next to me, and I kept it on all 17. Got it over to the shoulder, got it fixed, and got to the truck stop for the night. Because it blew out my headlights too, and I didn't have any headlights, so I had to park. And it started raining too, so I barely got to the truck stop and barely got parking before it was too dark.
3 miles.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But that wouldn't have happened if they would have maintained their equipment. And that just pissed me off, you know? Because in a way, whoa, what's this in the road? Stupid dog. There's this dog where I live, like a mile or two from where I live, always in the road.
Stop at service. 2.5 miles.
When I'm going from one property to the other, this dog's like halfway between my properties. Almost every single time, this freaking dog is in the middle of the freaking road. And in the middle of the night, I had to slam on the brakes. You know? Stupid dog, man. I tell you, it loves. I'm surprised that dog's still alive. It's amazing that dog has not been run over yet. Well, there's a nice house. If I wanted to live up here. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. That's okay. I was on a caboose anyways, my mom was saying. 2 miles to go. So, so yeah, that could have been a life-threatening situation. Luckily, I kept it on all 17, and you know, I didn't roll the truck or injure anybody in the process, and I got it pulled over to the shoulder. But you know, it's like I kept telling them this, and this needs to be fixed because it's eating up the steer tires. It already been through 2 steer tires.
Changing time zone.
It was about to go, you know, it was about to need another one. And I was like, you know, got to get the, I think it was called the spring pins done and an alignment before I got the tire, a new tire, because I didn't want to, you know, go through a 3rd tire.
Speed limit reduced.
I was trying to help them, trying to save them money, but they didn't care. So I eventually just quit because of that. I was worried about my own safety and my safety score with the New World Order. So, Department of Highway Robbery, or also known as Department of Revenue. Serve and collect. When you're supposed to be serving and protecting, they're serving and collecting instead. But anyways, that's enough of that. I'm almost to the truck stop. Get a parking spot. It's starting to rain, so I'm gonna hurry up and shoot a video and then call it a night. Okay, bye. Alright. Oh, I need my gloves. 2 things that I forgot to mention. The nice thing about this truck is they have an airbag exhaust switch where it'll cause the airbags to come up. So not just does it have an airbag dump, it has an airbag exhaust to where it'll raise the airbags as well. That's nice. Especially like, I mean, I think all trucks should have that because sometimes you get to where you know, especially like when you're doing dropping hooks and you're picking up a loaded trailer and somebody jacks the trailer up too high or too low or whatever, you know, it's like you can adjust your airbags to the right height that you need to, 1, either hook up to the trailer, and 2, make it easier for you to crank the dollies, because if it's too high, it takes forever to crank the dollies up, or, you know, the trailer down. But if you can put the air in the airbags and lift the trailer up, it takes a lot of pressure off of you. So all trucks should have that regardless, but especially tankers. Also in this box, I have an airbag dump switch so I can dump my airbags. So like where I just unloaded, they had on a slight incline, but then I also dumped my airbags here, raised my airbags there, and really gave it a good incline for the unload. So yeah, here I don't got to worry about getting in trouble for videotaping. Try to do this without getting myself dirty. Ugh. There we go. So here's my setup. I got my air here, so I got a air chuck thingy. So I hook up here so I can either blow. Sometimes when I get done hauling a product like white grease, which is pig fat basically, between picking up the next load or even delivering the next load, that product will solidify, I think that's the right word, harden up in that little gap there between this internal valve and the tank. So when I load the next product, it doesn't always melt that all the way, depending on how cold it is outside. So I hook up the air and I blow that plug out into the existing product, and then boom, you know. And or if I'm trying to load, I'll blow the plug out so that I can load, and that helps with that. And then I can also blow the air out of my lines, blow the air out of my pump, or blow product. Yeah, so blow air to clean the line or the pump. A lot of times when I'm loading or unloading, there will still be product in here because it gets trapped. And so I'll blow air through the pump to make sure the pump is clean and there's no product in there. Otherwise, especially in the winter, it could solidify and plug everything up. And that's a big plug. I've already had it plugged up once and it was a nightmare to get it unplugged. However, the guy bragged on me because he said he was surprised I was able to get it going. He said the last guy that was there that had it plugged up, as bad as I did, couldn't get it unplugged, and he had to leave and have somebody else get it unplugged for him and come back the next day to load. So I managed to get it on my own. It just took an extra hour or two. I can't remember how long it took me, but it took a minute. But I got it, you know. Anyhow, and basically I have a torch in the truck. I heated everything up and got this, you know, working the best that I could, and it also blew air through it. And once I got between the three, heating it up and trying to do the pump and blowing air, it finally cleared out. So it was a pain in the butt, but I got it. So I call these the external valves. This is the external going to the pump, and this is the external coming out here, and then I got the internal back here. They're all technically externals. The hydraulic pumps, the trailers that have the hydraulic pumps and the valve inside the tank itself and goes up and down usually, that's technically the internal valve. This one doesn't have that, so I just call that the internal, and I call these the externals. And then this here is the hydraulic lever, and depending on how I hook the hydraulics up, it could go either way for loading or unloading. But we got a zip tie on one of the lines to let us know that that goes on the driver's side when I hook it up here. I'll show you. Before my battery dies, this battery's not that good anymore. This is an old phone. But yeah, I got the zip tie on this hose, and that basically tells me to hook up to this line so that I will load or unload the way I think I'm unloading or loading. So basically, if I hook that up right, pushing it in is to load, pulling it out is to unload. So yeah, then I try to keep it as clean as possible, and I put these diapers down, and they help, but it's not perfect. This pump leaks a little bit, and my hydraulics leak a little bit, so I got to carry extra hydraulic fluid for when it gets low. But yeah, and then I got my hoses in there. That one's I've never used, so it's still clean, but that one's dirty. I haven't been to a tank wash in who knows how long, so I haven't been able to get my trailer properly cleaned. So I've been keeping it as clean as possible myself, and it's not bad now. Some of the customers have water where I can clean it out, and then my company's got this degreaser that I need to get back to the yard and get, and a spray bottle so that I can spray it in here before I wash, and that'll help get it more clean. But yeah, but this is considerably clean compared to how it was a couple days ago. So it was pretty bad. But yeah, I was able to get to a place where they had water and would let me wash it out. So I washed it out and then put my diapers in there to help keep it clean. So basically they're spill pads, but we call them diapers. I guess that's it. There was something else. Oh yeah, I'll try to get the video off my dash cam. But I was amazed at how well I backed into this spot with no pull-ups. Talking about diapers and pull-ups. Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now. But anyways, this is what I do. This is what I do. I actually prefer tankers. But, and this company's not that bad. Don't get me wrong, but there's probably better out there. And there's definitely worse. There's definitely worse. So, I'm going to stick it out till I find something better. But, I'm pretty sure there's better. I've worked for better. In fact, I shouldn't have burned my bridge with Ericsson. But, I don't know, they kind of pissed me off. Mostly because of quality carriers. Ericsson is leased on with quality carriers. They're basically like a fleet owner. And quality carriers was a major pain in the ass. So, two things that burnt the bridge with me and Ericsson was, and back then I had a shorter fuse than I do now as well, but they basically wrongfully terminated my father. They said that my dad backed into this location and damaged another trailer, and there was no evidence. They claimed they had video, but there was no video because they wouldn't present the video to prove that my dad damaged said trailer. There was no damage on his trailer, so there was no evidence that my dad actually damaged said trailer, but they terminated him. And that put a lot of, you know, bad blood between me and Ericsson. But prior to that, I bought their domain name because I loved Ericsson. It was a great company for the most part. I had bought their domain name, and I made a website, and I started advertising and recruiting because they didn't want the domain name anymore. They didn't care about it. I asked them, and they didn't want it. They didn't care. So I was like, cool. I bought it, and I started advertising it, and I started recruiting because they had a, you know, sign-on bonus, recruiting incentive. And as soon as the owner figured out what I was doing, he got rid of the recruiting incentive. And so I spent all this time and money with the domain name and business cards, and building a website and advertising and recruiting drivers, and they cut my throat. I still own their domain name. So they cost me several $1,000s in recruiting, incentives. And I was pissed about that. So that was the first bad blood, if you will, between me and Ericsson. And then them wrongfully terminating my father, that was pretty much it. And they got pissed off at me because I had on my voicemail that my dad was looking for another job and that they wrongfully terminated my father, and if anybody knows of another job for my father, let me know. Well, they called me one day and they heard my voicemail and they got pissed. And they demanded that I change my voicemail. And reluctantly, I did. But yeah, we pretty much went downhill after that. And recently, like about a year or two ago, Ericsson called me wanting to buy their domain name back. They owned it at one time, but they let it go. And they didn't care about it. So I bought it. Now they want it. So I'm like, well, let's see. You cost me how many thousands of dollars in recruiting incentives? That's how much money I want for the domain name. So like, never mind. We'll just go buy the .net. I'm like, fine, that's cool. I'm not letting go of that domain name because now I know they want it. So, basically, the money I got in it and the money they cost me in recruiting incentives, that's how much I want for their domain name. But now I got a new website that I'm working on called co-driverfinder.com. I'm going to be redirecting ericssontransport.com to that domain name. And I'm doing away with the Dateline. Truckerdate.com is pretty much out the door. Nobody wants to date a truck driver because we suck. No, I'm kidding. They think we suck. So, Trucker Date has been dead for a long time. It was a good idea, I think. It did real well for a while. I didn't even have to advertise it. All right, my alarm went off and messed up my video. So truckerdate.com was effective for a while, but now there's so many damn catfish out there, it's not even funny. So most of the attractive women that sign up for truckerdate.com are basically catfish. And it's hard to decipher between some of them. And so it's hard to screen, and people won't report them. It's like I got a lady friend who talks about, catfish and stuff on the Datelines. And I'm like, report them. She goes, I'm not going to do that. That's not my job. I'm like, yeah, it is your job. It's your duty to report them. How does the administrators know that there's catfish on there if the members don't help them catch them? We can't get rid of them if you guys don't help us find them. And because sometimes they're hard to spot and we need the members' help to spot them and get rid of them. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, but members don't want to do that. They don't want to help. So they just want to complain that you got catfish on your website. It's like, well, they're everywhere. They're on Facebook. They're everywhere. So it's like, without your guys' help, we can't get rid of them as efficiently. So I'm pretty much done with that. I'm done with all the Datelines for the most part. The only Dateline I probably have left I still have truckerdate.com. I'm gonna leave it up until it's dead. Once this website crashes, I'm done. I'm not rebuilding it again. The only other one I have is Off-Grid Singles. And then I've got my poly community. I'm not poly anymore, but I still own thepolycommunity.com, and I still am an advocate of the poly community, and so I still run that social network. It's not really a dateline, but people use it for one. CoDriverFinder.com will not be a dateline, though people can use it as one. But it's mostly just, you know, for people to find a co-driver. And the reason I thought of that was because I was thinking about going expedite when I turn 50, which is in another year and a half. But expedite, you have to run team. So I wouldn't do that unless I had a girlfriend who wanted to run team with me. It's the only way I would do expedite again, or run team again. So if I find a woman who wants to run team with me and we're in a relationship, because I've ran team with other dudes and it was pretty much almost always a nightmare. So I'm not doing that again. Some people it's for them, but some people it's not. So training, I might, should train. I've got enough experience. I've got over 20 years experience. I should probably be a trainer, but I'm not sure I want to do that either. So so if I go expedite, it would only be if I found a girlfriend who wanted to drive truck with me, like my last girlfriend that drove truck with me. And we did expedite. So yeah, that'd be the only way I would do that. So I was talking to the old company that I used to work for, Summit Express, and he jokingly said, I asked him if there's a website out there to find a co-driver, and he said no. And he jokingly said something like expeditersonly.com, and so I went out and bought the domain name. And I've got a bunch of domain names, like miscellaneous domain names. So, but I didn't want it to be solely for expedite. I wanted it to be universal. And so it took me a while to come up with the name, and I may come up with a better name later. But I basically converted my old truckerdate.com platform to my new CoDriverFinder.com platform for people who want to run team and they want to find a co-driver. Now, that will be a 100% pay site, because that is the best way to get rid of catfish, is to put up a paywall. However, I plan to keep it as cheap as possible. So if you just want 1 month subscription, it might cost a little more. But if you pay for like a year membership, it'll be really, really cheap. So, and like I said, you can still use it as a dateline, but it won't be a dateline anymore. It's a co-driver finder website. So there you go. So now that I put in my plug for that, I'll see about getting the video for my awesome back. You won't get to see the actual backing, but you'll be able to see me do the whole setup in reverse. You'll see what I saw looking out the window, but not looking in my mirror.
Check it. Check it. Check it out. 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 Bounce, bounce, bounce. Check it out. Check it out. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Check it out. Check it out. Bounce, bounce. Check it out. Check it out. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.